For years, we followed Amy Roloff's journey, from the bustling life at Roloff Farms to finding love again with Chris Marek. Their wedding was a fairy tale, and their beautiful new home in Oregon seemed to be the perfect setting for their happily ever after. When they announced they were selling that home, the official story was simple, clean, and made perfect sense. Amy said, yeah, we're getting older and it's a big house. We're thinking about the future, maybe downsizing a little bit. Downsizing. It's the story they told us. The story TLC's cameras are carefully framed. But here at LPBW Update, we look deeper. We connect the dots that others miss. And the story of why Amy and Chris really sold their home is much, much darker than you think. The truth isn't about a smaller mortgage or less vacuuming. It's about fear. It's about a terrifying incident that was deliberately scrubbed from the show. And it revolves around a secret from Chris Marek's past that came back to haunt them. This wasn't a move, it was an escape. According to unconfirmed reports from sources close to the production, sources who must remain anonymous to protect their careers, the real reason Amy and Chris fled their dream home was a stalker. Not just a casual fan, but a persistent and menacing presence that became so threatening, the family and the network allegedly made a pact of silence to prevent a scandal that could shatter the wholesome image of little people, big world forever. If you're already sensing that there's more to this story than TLC wants you to know, do me a favor right now. Press that like button and hit subscribe with the notification bell turned on. You're not just a viewer of this channel, you're part of an investigation. By subscribing, you ensure you won't miss our future updates as we continue to uncover the secrets the cameras don't show you. All right, let's pull back the curtain. So let's start with the official narrative, downsizing. On the surface, it's plausible, but when you examine the timeline and the context, the story begins to fall apart. The timing. Amy and Chris were in that house for a relatively short period of time. Amy, in particular, spent decades on Roloff Farms. She is a creature of habit, someone who values stability and home. Remember the emotional turmoil she went through leaving the farm? She fought tooth and nail to find her footing, to create a new sanctuary. The idea that she would so quickly and easily decide to uproot her entire life again, just for the sake of downsizing, feels emotionally inconsistent with the woman we've watched for over 2 decades. People who crave stability don't move for minor reasons. They move when they are forced to. Now, let's talk about money. Chris Marek has had a long and successful career in real estate. Amy Roloff is a network television star, an author, and a public figure with multiple streams of income. While the Oregon housing market is not cheap, the idea that the financial burden of this specific home suddenly became too much for them is, frankly, questionable. They are not a couple struggling to make ends meet. The downsizing narrative feels like a convenient, publicly acceptable excuse. It's the kind of reason you give when you can't or won't tell the truth. It's simple, it's boring, and it discourages further questions. It's the perfect corporate-approved alibi. But what was it designed to cover up? An exclusive theory. This brings us to the core of our investigation. The information we are about to share comes from unconfirmed insider reports and our own exclusive theories based on connecting troubling clues. According to these reports, shortly after their wedding, Amy and Chris began to experience a series of disturbing events at their home. It started small. Items moved in the yard, strange deliveries they didn't order, the feeling of being watched. At first, they may have dismissed it as overzealous fans. After all, they are public figures. But the activity allegedly escalated. Our sources claim that the individual became bolder. They were seen near the property line on multiple occasions. Personal information that wasn't publicly available began appearing in letters sent to the house, details about their private schedule, things they had discussed inside their own home. This suggests the possibility of surveillance. The turning point, the incident that allegedly forced their hand, was a direct confrontation. The details are murky, as those involved are bound by what we believe are strict non-disclosure agreements. However, the theory pieced together from whispers and off-the-record conversations paints a chilling picture. One evening, Chris reportedly went to investigate a noise outside and came face to face with the individual. We don't know what was said. We don't know the full extent of the confrontation, but the report claims it was enough to terrify them. This wasn't a fan seeking an autograph. This was an obsession that had crossed a dangerous line. Police were allegedly called, but with little hard evidence to make an arrest, their hands were tied. The stalker remained at large, a ghost that haunted their dream home. Suddenly, Amy's on-screen anxiety in the later seasons takes on a whole new meaning. Was she worried about wedding planning and merging two lives? Or was she living in a state of constant low-grade fear? Was her hesitation not about commitment, but about her safety? Look at her body language, the guarded posture, the darting eyes. It's the behavior of a person under immense hidden stress. The stress of someone who no longer feels safe in their own home. So, who was this stalker? And why the intense fixation? While many might assume it was a deranged LPBW fan, our investigation points in a different, more specific direction. It points directly to Chris Marek. Before he was Amy Roloff's husband, Chris Marek was a very successful and, according to some, a very competitive real estate agent for over 2 decades. Real estate, especially at a high level, is a cutthroat business. It involves high-stakes negotiations, large sums of money, and deeply personal transactions. People's life savings are on the line. When a deal goes well, everyone is happy. But when a deal goes south, it can create powerful enemies. Our exclusive theory is that this stalker wasn't a fan of the show at all. In fact, they may have hated the show, seeing it as a celebration of a man who they believe wronged them. Could this individual be a former client of Chris's? Someone who lost a property, who felt cheated in a deal, who blamed Chris for a financial or personal ruin years ago. Imagine this scenario. For years, this person harbored a deep-seated grudge. They watched from afar as Chris Marek, the man they blamed for their misfortune, suddenly became a reality TV star. He was portrayed as a charming, easygoing guy, marrying into a beloved TV family. To the world, he was a hero. To this individual, he was a villain, living a life they felt he didn't deserve. The wedding and the publicity surrounding their new life could have been the trigger. It pushed this long-dormant obsession over the edge. The stalker wasn't targeting Amy and Chris. They were targeting Chris, and Amy was now caught in the crossfire. This theory explains the intensity and personal nature of the harassment. It wasn't about getting an autograph. It was about revenge. It was about making Chris's life as miserable as they felt he had made theirs. It explains why the individual knew personal details. They weren't just a viewer. They were someone who had once been in Chris's professional orbit. If a situation this serious occurred, why have we never heard about it? Why wasn't it a major storyline on the show? The answer, we believe, lies with one entity, TLC. Little People, Big World has a carefully curated brand. It's a family show. It deals with relatable domestic issues, marriage, divorce, raising kids, running a business. While it has its share of drama, that drama is always contained within the family. It's safe. A stalker storyline that shatters the entire illusion. Let's break down the network's motivations. 1. It destroys the feel-good narrative. Viewers tune in for comfort and familiarity. not for a true crime thriller. Introducing a real external threat of violence is brand destroying. It makes the world of the show feel unsafe, which is the opposite of what the network wants. 2. The legal and insurance nightmare. Admitting that your cast is being stalked opens up a Pandora's box of liability. What is the network's duty to protect its stars? Filming would become a security nightmare. Insurance premiums would skyrocket. It's a producer's worst-case scenario. 3. It implicates a main character in a dark past. If our theory is correct and the stalker is tied to Chris's past, the storyline is no longer just poor reality stars get stalked. It becomes, did Chris Marek's past business dealings put Amy Roloff in danger? That is a question TLC would never, ever want audiences to ask. It paints Chris in a potentially negative light and introduces a level of moral ambiguity the show actively avoids. So, what did they do? According to our sources, a decision was made from the top down. The incident would be contained. The family was likely put under a strict NDA with severe financial penalties for speaking about it, even to friends. The downsizing story was workshopped and agreed upon as the official public-facing reason. It was a calculated corporate decision. Protect the brand, protect the show, and erase the inconvenient, terrifying truth. The family's real-life fear was sacrificed for the sake of television ratings and brand safety. Once you know this theory, watching the last couple of seasons becomes a completely different experience. You start to see the clues that were hidden in plain sight. Clue number 1, Chris's urgency to move. Watch Chris's behavior in the scenes where they discuss selling the house. He is portrayed as the logical one, the one pushing for the move. The show frames it as him being practical about their future. But look again, is that practicality or is it desperation? Is his desire to move less about downsizing and more about getting the hell out of here? He is the one, according to our theory, who understands the root of the threat. His urgency is the urgency of a man trying to protect his wife by removing her from a dangerous location tied directly to him. Clue number 2, the vague explanations. Whenever Amy or Chris talk about the move on camera, their language is incredibly generic. It's just time for a change. We're thinking about the next chapter. This house is a lot of work. These are non-answers. They are placeholder lines you use when you can't say the real reason. There's no specific, compelling emotional reason given, which is highly unusual for a show that thrives on emotional confessionals. The lack of detail is the detail. Clue number 3, the choice of new location. We don't know the exact location of their new home, and that's the point. It's being kept far more private than their previous one. They seem to have moved to a place that offers more anonymity, more security. This isn't just a move, it's a strategic relocation. It's a move designed to make them harder to find, a classic tactic for people trying to evade an unwanted pursuer. Every conversation, every pained expression, every vague justification for the move can be reinterpreted through this lens of fear and secrecy. The show we watched was a carefully edited reality. The true drama was happening off camera, in the terrifying silence between takes. So, what are we left with? We have the official story, a simple, clean tale of downsizing that feels emotionally and financially inconsistent with the couple we know. And we have the unconfirmed alternative theory, a theory of a dark secret from Chris's past, a terrifying stalker who shattered their sense of security, and a powerful television network that orchestrated a cover-up to protect its billion-dollar brand, forcing a family to suffer in silence. We as viewers may never get official confirmation. The NDAs are likely ironclad. The family will continue to toe the company line. But the evidence, when pieced together, presents a compelling and disturbing narrative. It suggests that the real reason Amy and Chris sold their Oregon home wasn't about starting a new chapter, but about desperately trying to close a terrifying old one. It was an act not of ambition, but of self-preservation. They didn't just sell a house, they bought their safety, and the price they paid was their silence. What do you think? Do you believe the official downsizing story? Or do you think there's a darker truth that TLC is hiding from us? Let us know your theories in the comments section below. We read every single one. This is a community of investigators, and your insights matter. And if you found this investigation compelling, make sure you are subscribed to LPBW Update. Our next deep dive is already in the works, and it focuses on the strange financial dealings surrounding the sale of Roloff farms and a key player you've never heard of who may have influenced Matt's final decision. You won't want to miss it.